I didn't hear you, Brandy.
I said I am busy, but not too busy to come to meditation or be in meditation. 1 hour to other 23 hours.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Good.
working on it.
Working on it. That's good. Yeah, sometime. Yes, sometimes people ask me, "Oh, you have never been gone." I have a commitment. When I commit myself, I think I have never. Yeah, Jerry knows. I have never missed a single session. So in between, I go even for vacation and I come back and I make it sure that I am present. That is very important to me. So, so I was talking to Eon. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that is how I say. He is from London. We are all from the Earth planet after all. that is that is the perspective of Seeker and the meditator. So Eastern wisdom, as I have been telling, repeating again, 3,000, 6,000 years old, 3,000 texts, 3,000 uh, texts are there, and everything is there. We have to gain the knowledge. So I used to say the same thing in New Jersey. So one guy who is a good friend of mine, and he started making fun of me every time I used to attend a session, and he said, "I know what you are going to say, from where you are going to start." But do you see the essence of it? What is the essence? That the same teaching has been repeated in different ways, and still that knowledge is intact. We don't see that importance. It doesn't happen to make fun, but anyhow, this guy who's a good friend of mine, he went into depression. He divorced with one and married again, and then went into depression. And now, recently, last week, he called me. Now I'm out of it. I have realized what you talk about it. This is about delusion. We clearly say that any form of anxiety, stress, duality, conflict, problem in our life is nothing but delusion, because our nature is real self. So in between comes the dispassion. So in this text, 3 questions were asked: how the dispassion is attained, how the knowledge of the real self is attained. And the moment we have a real self, knowledge of the real self, the freedom comes with it. So goal of meditation and mindfulness is freedom. Freedom from what? Fear, insecurity, anxiety, duality, conflict. Do we really want it? So if we want it, we will be committed. So that is where the Brandy spoke of it. So, in ancient India, we had washermen, and they used to have donkeys. So with the donkeys, they used to visit houses, collect the clothes, used to go to the river, and in the river they used to wash the clothes, dry up, and late in the evening they load the clothes on the donkeys and return. That was our washer and dryer in ancient days. Even now in remote countryside, I'm talking about dispassion, by giving an example. So 5 donkeys and one washerman. He collected the clothes, went to a river. So he missed one leash to tie all the donkeys to a tree, otherwise they will flee. So he had 4 leashes, he tied 4 donkeys, and he was stressed. What should I do? A wise man was passing by. He said, I will tell you the way. So he said, let the donkey look at you, and you fake as if you are tying the donkey to a tree. So he faked it, and he tied faking, acting, and he tied that to a tree, and the donkey sat down. He didn't move. So he cleaned all the clothes, dried it, loaded. So he untied the rope of 4 donkeys. Now the 5th, he knew that there is no rope. But the 5th donkey didn't move. He kept sitting there. He didn't move. So it was evening. The wise man again was returning from the same. What happened? No, this donkey doesn't stand up. Now, I told you in the morning that you tied, but there was no rope. No, you have to untie. You have to fake untie. So he faked it, untied it, and donkey stood up. My master used to give me this story. This is what the delusion is. This is what the attachment is. We have hundreds of books on this attachment, identification, craving. Craving. In modern psychology also we talk a lot. Obsession. This is the nature of obsession, for which only the knowledge is required. But if we have a donkey mind, spend hours together, years together. But if we have a dispassion mind, we realize this is what it is, and we are free. So once we have a dispassion, then the journey of meditation begins. Without dispassion, do anything, talk about it, live in present. It will never happen. I lived in present yesterday. I cannot live in present today. Does that make a sense? That is what we talk. That is what we talk. Once you live in present, you always live in present. So, dispassion. How the dispassion is attained. So in this text, the seeker, as you are aware, is a great king. He was ruling the kingdom and he was a seeker. So he knew the basics. So that is why he asked how the dispassion is attained. Here comes our friend Christina. So how the dispassion is attained. Did you understand this? Think of this. Anytime you have anxiety, you don't have dispassion. You have stress, we have donkey mind. Not with due respect. So understand this. We tie ourselves. In fact, that is not tying. It is the lack of knowledge. Meditation removes the ignorance about my true nature. So we have already understood in the very first chapter of this text, Astavakra Gita, the seeker asked 3 questions. How the dispassion is attained. 1. how the knowledge of the real self is gained and how the freedom, liberation, awakening, nirvana. So in the first chapter, this master gave the very nature of the real self. It cannot be tied, it cannot be untied. That is the nature of dispassion. We are already going deeply into these steps to become a seeker on Mondays and Thursdays. Second chapter was focused on, when you are at the highest level of a seeker, you need only understanding, clarity. Do you remember what do you mean by clarity? I've already cleared it in a simple way. What is understanding? So as a human mind, I can understand that the washerman is faking. In fact, it does not exist. It appears to exist. That knowledge is required to reach to the highest in meditation. So in the second chapter, the seeker realized this. Third chapter, we have already covered, in which the master teased. What he teased? He teased that, how can you say that? You are ruling the kingdom, you have to punish people who are guilty, you have to manage the finances as Yon is financing. He is very forthwith. He said, no, I cannot do anything for you. It's good. So, you see that? So, there is a tradition in the Eastern wisdom. You claim that you have reached to that state. Master says, okay, I will check you whether you have reached to that state or not. So you don't get upset, when the master is checking you. So that checking is also educating whether you continue to live into that state or not, into that state of freedom or not. And there are hundreds of ways. To give one example of my master and other masters, so internally you know that you have a knowledge that now there is a total freedom, but you self-check. How you self-check? That's another totally a different perspective of this journey. You are living your professional life, so you check yourself in your professional life, in your social life, in your family life. But there is another tradition. So my master used to go to a cremation ground. He used to spend he used to say that now I'm going to spend about 3 months there. I'm not going to get out of this cremation. The body is burning, as you know. They burn the dead bodies in India. So he spent about 7 days without any food, and the one woman watched him because he came to bury his son. She returned home, she made a food, and she returned to the cremation ground to offer him. So in a way, I'm not going deeply into that. One day we will talk about this. The existence helps you to survive through different means, even if you don't demand, if you don't desire. That tremendous confidence that you have when you have that state of the freedom. So the third chapter was all the teasers. The master teased, let me check you. But now in the fourth chapter, he's saying, I'm already there. So he is explaining, he is talking, he is communicating This is my experience. This is my level of awareness. I feel with all humility, and he is communicating to the master, please let me know. Do I need to do anything more? Do I need to do anything more? And that is beautifully explained by another master, Shankaracharya, in one of his teachings, Satasangatve Nisasangatvam. Satasang, company, listening and learning continuously with commitment, with focus, leads to a kind of detachment. Now you know there is no tying and there is no untying. Forget about it. This is all fake. Attachment is all false. Why attachment appears real? Because I'm living in delusion. So that is the first step. He summarizes in 4 steps. So, first step, pay attention, think of it. First, listening and learning from a teacher, and then you are contemplating. You become a thinker. Thinker. We think that whatever the thought comes to my mind, and okay, that is what I am already a thinker. Subconsciously, habitually, the thought comes. That is not being a thinker in this. I think over these principles. Anytime you have a 5-minute break, you start thinking. Why? Because my entire life needs freedom, not a part of the life. I need a freedom in my personal life, professional life, social life, family life, 24/7. That freedom is what is nirvana or enlightenment. So the first step, listening and learning, you become a thinker, then you know, you realize delusion is gone, detachment is there. From the detachment, you reach to a state of dispassion of the mind. Now what he says, Nisangatve nirmohatvam nirmohatve nischal tattvam. In modern life we complain, we all complain, my mind is wandering, I'm not able to focus, there is a lack of focus and concentration. We don't go to the root cause of the problem. You have detachment, delusion is gone, your mind is always focused. You need not to worry about anything, that your mind is distracted. It cannot be distracted. There is no reason to be distracted. And that mind, after dispassion and detachment, succeeds in meditation just by listening. That is all about this text. That is all about the teaching. Yes, some people have said that live in present here and now. So now come to the text. So this verse says, what this verse says, who has known this real self is untouched. Untouched by good and bad, likes and dislikes, profit and loss. Eon, profit and loss in finances. Profit and loss or gain, high and low. The mind says they are all part of the delusion. I need not to think of this. The mind remains untouched, untied, because there is no tying. So this is what the seeker is saying, that I am feeling. Mind is claiming likes and dislikes outside, but that remains at a distance. It doesn't touch me. Profit and loss, that doesn't touch me. loss and gain that doesn't touch me, pain and pleasure that does not touch me. Pain and pleasure belongs to the body, mind and emotions in relationship, but my real nature cannot be touched by that. So why should I do anything? I remain in that present moment. Are you getting it? Tajasya punya papabhyam. He says, no sins and the virtues touch me. Pain and the pleasure touch me. Likes and dislikes touch me because they are perceived by the mind. I am not the mind. Do you remember? No mind is meditation. I'm not the mind. I'm not the mind. So, do we live into that state? Do we think in that state? Do we communicate in that state? We are already there. We are already there. Now, let me explain from the different texts, because every text talks about the same principle differently. I have been telling you. I fell down. I hurt my knee. I used the word I. A close examination reveals that body fell down. The knee was hurt. If I am the body, then I can claim. But when I identify myself with the body, then I fell down, then I have a pain, then it hurt my knees, and then I am suffering. So even in those conditions of life, you are fully aware that you need not to tie yourself fakely with the body. Identification that leads to the delusion, and the delusion leads to the suffering. You see, I have been suffering. Are you getting it? I'm very busy. That is why I did not attend your session. Busy in what? Think of it. You are busy in what? Entering into delusion? Is your busyness also a delusion or not? Do you live into that extraordinary awareness? No, by saying that, I'm not making myself important. Now, I'm directing to you. Think of it. Just think. Because that real self cannot be busy. Are you getting it? That cannot be busy. So I understand, but I don't talk about it because you have a big heart. Sometimes you get hurt. So understand this clearly. What is understanding and clarity? I have already defined. Filter out. Experience of profit, loss, likes, dislikes, pain, pleasure, high and low, rich and the poor. They all belongs to the mind. I am not the mind. No mind is meditation. I am the real self. That is my nature. This is what the seeker is explaining to the master, and the master is delighted. That's why in the 4th chapter we have hardly 6 or 7 verses. Think of it. What is going to happen in the next chapter? Think of it. Well, now the journey ends. No. In the 5th chapter, the real journey begins. Real journey begins. That is where the master speaks about it. So I just ask you and request you to think of it. Think. Sit down. I am upset. Think over what it means by being upset, from where being upset has come. It has come from the mind. Who is aware of being upset? That is you. Mind makes you upset is not you. Simple. When we are a seeker, we can realize, we can filter out, and we live into that state of meditation all the time. You worked hard. I will address again you. You worked hard. You planned. You dreamed that you will get a $50,000, but you only got 25,000. What do we think? I lost 25. I made a plan to earn 50,000, but I only gained 25, so I think I lost 25. Are you understanding that? It comes from the mind, not from the real nature. That real self remained as it is. So when we have a clarity and understanding after dispassion, through the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, the freedom is here and now. So this master advocates, proves that we don't need to do any practice, but still we are doing a practice. You don't need to do any practice, you are already there. So you go back again and again, think, contemplate, reflect, knowledge, understanding, and you then only you live in the present moment. Simply saying live in the present. I lived in the present yesterday. Today I cannot live. That is the beauty of this knowledge in the Eastern wisdom. So let us start our journey. Let us start our practice. So, close your eyes. So it is a practice and it is also a non-practice, my friends and seekers. For me, you all are great seekers. Eyes are closed. Body is steady. Mind is looking inside the head or the heart. Whatever you choose. I do not have any preference. So you should also have no preference. Why? No likes and dislikes. Do it casually. Not doing it casually. Looking inside is not doing any practice. Eyes are closed is not doing any practice. Remember this. You are aware of the steadiness of the body. Aware. Awareness is not doing anything. Your eyes are closed. Closed eyes is not doing anything. And aware of the head inside or the heart within is not doing anything. Now I'm trying to fake doing, but we still live into the state of not doing. That helps to make you understand and with the clarity that you are still in a state of doing nothing. So we will take so-called the second step. Again, remember, when I say the second step, it means we have to do something. So we are in between practice and the non-practice. tying and untying. Remember, clarity of understanding is required. For clarity and knowledge, you need to maintain your awareness. When I'm talking, communicating to you, your mind should be with me. Me, just for an hour. Being comfortable. Look at the neck joint. Looking is not doing anything. Mind is aware. So when you look at the neck joint, you are there. It is an object. It is seen. It is known by the mind. What is known by the mind is not you. First thing. What is known by the mind is not you. First thing. And then when you look at it, you find what is known by the mind is not you. But at the same time, you have an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Very good. What is beyond that? There is a space. What is beyond the space? So I am just making a point so that I am, the space is awareness and awareness is space. Because there is no object to be seen. We have reached to the ultimate cause. So when you live into that state, here and now, you get a glimpse of it. You know, in Mondays and Thursdays session, we follow the steps. That is a practice. So here it is, a non-practice. So we ask the mind to repeat, to change its habit. Look at the shoulder joints. Look means mind is looking. The way when your eyes are open and you see me by default. It's non-practice. You hear by default. So, first point of awareness, that you are aware of the shoulder joints. Second, awareness that it is seen and known by the mind. Neither what is seen and the mind are you. We identify by default because of the evolution. We evolved from the animal kingdom, and hence there is a natural identification in animals that they are the body. So we carry it forward. We have to break this notion. Wrong notion, tying, untying. We experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Okay. Experience and the mind experiences. So experience is in the field of the mind, but I'm not the mind. I'm the knower and the seer. So I land up into the space. Space is awareness and awareness is space. The entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, all the joints of the body. You're simply looking casually. We're not asking the body to do anything. Clarity practice and non-practice. So if the mind is anxious to do something, become aware. When you are aware that it is a non-practice, the mind says, okay, I have to do nothing, and maintaining an awareness, that is it. So sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So another point of awareness I have added, point of awareness, experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness taking place in the mind. We are aware, I am not the mind. Mind and the experiences are not me. Then I become aware of the infinite space. What is that infinite space? It is an object-less state of the mind. What is mindfulness? Objectless state of the mind. No, but you told me that I'm aware of the space. Yes, space is awareness and awareness is space. What is happening because of the fake tying and the untying, as I explained to you with reference to a parable and a story of a donkey? Mind not searching the true self impulsively tie itself to the body, mind, breath, thoughts, and falls into delusion. Okay, thoughts. Thought also includes feeling and the sensations, but let us call it a thought. Thought comes to the mind? Yes. They stay there? Yes. They go away? Yes. They enter into the mind and they leave. What I have to do? Nothing. Why to identify with any thought that, I am stressed, I have a lot of thoughts during the practice of meditation. Let it come and go. I gave you many metaphors to have a clarity. You are standing across a road watching the traffic. You are different from the traffic? Yes. You are different from the road? Yes. You are standing across a road? Yes. Are you doing anything? No. Do you live into that awareness? No thought from today can ever disturb you. Check yourself. Are you there? Then we'll go deeper what the seeker is saying to the master. I'm there into that state. Why he says. So he goes little deeper. It appears he is talking at the surface level, but he has gone deeper. Can you have any likes and dislikes, pain, pleasure, profit, loss, any opposing tendencies without a thought? Now see the deeper level of awareness. That's why he is saying it is the thought that contains likes and dislikes, pain, pleasure, profit, loss, gain, etc., etc. But now I'm aware. There is no tying and untying with the thought that enters into the mind. Because why? I'm different from it, separate from it. And you already know this is what I say, being carefree. Reflect, contemplate. What do you mean by being carefree? Free from all the cares. Who cares me? Mind. I am stressed. I have to do something. I don't like this. I have to do something. I like this. I have to do something. Carefree is a byproduct. You experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Not only, you also experience a sense of calmness and quietness. Remove another delusion that any thought has nothing to do with stress and suffering. What has to do with the stress and suffering? That I tie myself fakely. And what we teachers do, we also do the faking and untie. Make it very clear. With responsibility, I'm making a statement that any teacher of the Eastern wisdom, because you have fakely tied yourself, every teacher fakely untie you. Both are in the realm of faking. That is why I say standing across a road watching the traffic. Birds are flying in the sky. Thoughts are flying in the sky of mind. Is the sky affected, influenced in any way by the bird? No. Is the mind affected by any thought in any way? No. You are living in the present moment. Doesn't mean that you do not carry out the work in your life. You do it. But you are different from all these. This is another deeper level of understanding and clarity of being carefree. Now check yourself. You know, the beauty of the Eastern wisdom is that the teacher contradicts itself when he focuses on one method of teaching with reference to the other method. So on Mondays and Thursdays session, I stress, no, you must breathe. You breathe for longer period. You do some active step that will purify your mind. So here we are not talking the purification of the mind. No breathing, no active step, because if I do the active step, it becomes a practice. Let us go a little deeper. Mind cannot communicate without reference to the object in the world outside. But we are not outside. So just experience steadiness in the body. So reference point is steadiness in the body, not of the body. Reference point is the body and then the steadiness in the body. Sensation where in the body, relaxation where in the body and the mind. Stillness neither in the body or in the mind. Stillness in the body, not of the body. And that stillness is the first reference of our real self behind the body and the mind. But you see how casually I spoke? And our masters continue to stress upon clarity, understanding. Here and now, that stillness in the body or in the mind. Why in the mind? Thoughts are coming and going. I'm none of them. Let them come, let them go. Like the space remains the same, the birds are flying, the road remains the same, the traffic is moving on, and I'm only a witness. That gives us a clue what it means by living in the present moment. That gives us a clue that witness consciousness cannot be dictated, influenced, overpowered by likes, dislikes, thoughts, body, mind. Hence, I live in the present moment. That also proves by experience, without doing anything, I experience sensation, relaxation, stillness, calmness, and quietness. Now, that proves for me, but I'm conveying it, communicating. That should also prove for you. If I remember, last week I gave an example. Mind experiences of the object's event outside. I gave an example of TV screen. Television, we watch a movie. Nothing happens to the TV screen. Everything is happening in the screen, on the screen, everything is happening on the monitor. Nothing is happening to the monitor. We forget the monitor. We get carried by the pictures and the events that is being displayed. And that what is being displayed is happening in the mind, not into me. That is what is being carefree at a higher level. Another point that I mentioned, you can also have that clarity of the mind. Mind acts like a salesman. Any thought, every thought that enters into the mind, just become aware the mind is a salesman. Say goodbye, non-verbally. Means how? By becoming aware. You will discover the stillness continues. And that stillness belongs to the witness consciousness. And that witness consciousness is independent of the mind, of the body, of the thoughts, of the likes and dislikes. This is what the seeker was communicating to his master in the verse we discussed before meditation. Are you aware, living in the present? Does it mean doing something? Like tying the donkey fakely, untying the donkey fakely? Fake means false, wrong notion. Are you aware? What a beauty of this teaching by the Master. We also understood before, just bring a clarity when I make a statement. Pot, clay pot is clay, but clay is not pot. Pot exists because of clay. Whatever the thought comes to you exists because of the real self. Whatever the image, feelings, sensations we have in the mind because of the real self. And still the real self is independent. Can I see it? Seeing means, can I be aware? Make it very practically. Body appears to exist because of the real self. The real self is independent. Whether you say pure consciousness, real self, witness consciousness, all the same. It is independent. But body is dependent. So whatever is independent causes the delusion, causes the wrong notion. Can mind exist without real self? Witness consciousness? No. So mind cannot exist, it is dependent, it changes, so that gives me an understanding and a clarity that is not me. I make a near statement, very near. Real self is independent like the space. Real self is independent like a space. What you are doing now, you are doing nothing, one aspect. The other way to understand doing nothing and living into the state of doing nothing doesn't mean that you are not aware. The very awareness is the nature, is my nature. That is what the consciousness is. So I'm aware of whatever is happening in the body, the mind, the thoughts, the feeling, the object, the world outside, the noise. I'm simply aware. I'm present. Like the light. Does anything happens to the light? 100 people are present in a room and everyone goes out. Light remains light. That's why we refer consciousness with the light. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Move from darkness to light. So we have understood in the practice or non-practice today that real self or witness consciousness, we give it a different name, or nothingness. But there has to be a knower of nothingness. So we stop in Buddhist meditation. No, there is a nothingness. But who recognizes it? How do you know? No, I know it. So when you say I, that I is real self. So the seeker proves through his understanding, clarity, and experience that he is now living, thinking, working in meditative state and ruling the kingdom. And as the tradition speaks, after the meditation we'll share our experiences openly. Good, bad, high, low, it belongs to you. So need not to worry. What you say, I will accept it. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand your mind on the left hand. Raise both your palms. Place it on your closed eyes. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. You see that? No, I don't ask you to close the light. Why should we practice meditation in darkness when we want to move from darkness to light? It's all an understanding. Why we should have any fragrance when we can touch the fragrance inside? How are you, David and Jerry?
Very good. It was just a pure place of nothingness, like you say, but I did have an awareness going on. I could hear your words. I was aware of my surroundings. I did notice my head falling a couple of times.
Naturally.
But no, very deep, and there was thoughts, but there was no attachment to them.
Beautiful. That's what it should be. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. I feel like I'm really, from the time we close our eyes, I'm in that space and able to observe the mind, focused on everything you're saying, and it's very happy to just kind of stay with your words.
Beautiful.
Notice the breath was shallow, the body's obviously still, and the space illuminated at one point before you talked about darkness to light, and I felt this space was very illuminating.
That is a good point. Illuminated, yes. That's quite a good deeper state. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good. It took a little while to untie the rope this morning. I don't usually get a lot of images and colors and things going on, but when I finally did, it was really that nice, clear space and awareness.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How are you, Eon? What is this meditation worth? You are a finance guy.
My mind got busy at times, but drifted away easier than normal. And there was times where my head was going too. And it was easier to listen to your voice than the sound of the buses going by. So it felt relaxing.
Felt relaxing. You see what clarity is required. That is why we have to learn these principles of Eastern wisdom. You say real self, you say true nature, you say witness consciousness. We have to understand first thing, it is independent. Second thing, it is ever existing. Third thing, it is of the nature of permanent peace, love, and wisdom. It is unchanging. So when the mind recognizes that the mind is drifting, it is a change. This is not I am. I have to simply become aware. Let the mind drift. I am here and now. Yeah, it will take a couple of sessions. It will happen. Don't worry. It is happening. How are you, Christina? We did not do any breathing.
That was wonderful. I've been in a lot of pain. I got my wisdom teeth taken out, and I don't want to take any medication. So that was the best hour or whatever however long we were.
Beautiful.
I was totally disconnected from my body, and I did get a little carried away in my mind, but I was able to say, nope, mind, this is your time to meditate, nothing else.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah. And now I'm feeling a lot of stuff again, but gonna get back to that.
Yeah, that's good. How are you, Sam? Beautiful, Christina.
I'm good. It was easy. I was able to stay focused on you and the goal, and that's it.
Beautiful. Focus on yourself, not onto this beer guy. I love you, Sam. Yeah, how are you, Sunita? कैसा हुआ?
रिलैक्स बहुत ज्यादा.
बहुत ज़्यादा. देखो शुरू से कहा था करने के लिए, अब चलो प्रारब्ध ले आया खींच के. She felt totally relaxed. So understanding is required. To summarize, the seeker is saying, pay attention to what the seeker is saying. I'm not at all. Dislikes and dislikes, pain, pleasure, profit, loss has nothing to do with me because they are constantly changing. And whatever is changing is experienced by the mind, but I'm not the mind. Then who am I? I'm the real self. I'm the witness consciousness. That is unchanging. Only which is unchanging can live, be in the present. There is nothing that can be ever in the present. We try to, with the donkey mind, we think the mind will live in the present. How the mind can live in the present? Just think of it. Think of it. Mind is constantly changing. The characteristic of the mind is a change. Is there anything behind the mind? That is where we enter into meditative state. Did you get it? Simple. Understand. So we blindly believe in the teacher, oh no, live in the present. Who says this? Mind. Mind cannot live in the present. That is all for today. We'll meet again. Thank you, my friends, joining me.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. कैसे हो सुनीता?